Hello, Whitmore Lake community. I am Mr. Hendrickson. I teach third grade at Whitmore Lake Elementary, and today I'm going to be continuing the book uh, Niagara Falls, or Does It, by Hank Zipzer. And I'll be starting here at chapter 14. The hallway is a lonely place when you're sitting on the bench outside the principal's office. Kids, walk by on the way. Sorry, let me try that one more time. Kids walk by on the way to the bathroom or the water fountain, but no one says hello to you. No one even looks at you. It's like you're wearing a sign around your neck that says, "Trouble, keep away." I had been waiting in the hall for more than an hour. They were inside, and the three of them, Principal Love and the Zippers. That would be Stan and Randy, also known as Mom and Dad. It was hard to sit still. I got up and asked Mrs. Crock in the attendant's office if I could have a pencil and paper just to doodle or something. "You're supposed to be using this time to think about what you've done," she said. "I think better when I doodle," I told her. "So do I," she said. She gave me a piece of paper and her pencil. That was nice of her. When I went back into the hall, Principal Love was standing outside of his office. He didn't speak. He just wagged his finger, inviting me in. It's the kind of invitation that you don't say no to. As I entered the office, I could tell my father was really angry. I knew that because his butt was hovering above the chair cushion, not quite touching it. "Can I say something?" I said. "Absolutely not," answered Principal Love. "I think your actions have spoken loudly enough." I noticed that Principal Love's office smelled a little like tuna. It must be from his shoes, I thought. He had changed his shirt, but he still had some paper mache stuck to his cheek. It was right above the Statue of Liberty mole. I couldn't help thinking that the Statue of Liberty finally had a torch. "What you did today was completely irresponsible," Principal Love said. I turned to my father. He would understand. But Dad, I was trying to..." My father stood up. "Are you aware of the chaos you created, Hank? First of all, you didn't follow the rules. You can't just make up your own assignment." Yeah, but I want to..." "Don't interrupt your father," my mother said. I couldn't believe it. Even Mom was on their side. I thought maybe it was the shoes. She usually wears sandals, but she had put on her black leather loafers, the ones that look like Miss Adolph's shoes. She's not as much fun when she wears those shoes. "You were supposed to write an essay, 5 paragraphs. That's with a pencil, Hank, not paper mache," my father said, seriously mad. "But, Dad, I remember every fact I learned on our trip. I was writing it with my mouth did you know that Niagara Falls is 2,220 feet wide, and it's 173 feet high. Enough of this," said Principal Love. "We are here to decide on an appropriate punishment for what you have done." At this moment, I realized that the President of the United States was not going to be able to help me. "Detention for 2 weeks, Principal Love said. "Grounded at home," my father added. "Same length of time." My brain froze. 2 weeks? The magic show. Oh no! The magic show was right in the middle of my punishment. I'm dead. I'm doomed. I'm out of the Magic 3. Chapter 15. I left Principal Love's office and headed downstairs to the lunchroom. A couple of first graders passed me on their way to the library. "I think that's the boy who got in trouble," one of them whispered loudly. They stared at me like I had just robbed a bank or something. I spilled a load of water on the floor. Big deal. Okay. A lot of water. Okay, a whole lot of water. What does a guy do in this situation? I figured the only thing to do was to wave. I went into my best Hank Zipper strut. "Good to see you," I said, grinning at them. "What's up in show and tell today?" I think I scared them because they ran away. I continued downstairs. Some kids were already leaving the lunchroom and heading out to the yard. I passed Ryan and Gerald. Ryan held up his hand for a high five. "You're a riot, man," he said. "Truly," said Justin and Ricky, who were following behind. Your buddies are still eating lunch at your regular spot, Ryan said, pointing in the general direction of our table. I went over to the table and slid in next to Ashley. She was in the middle of telling Frankie and Robert how she was going to spend her money from the magic show. I already have $9 saved, she was saying. With the $10 we'll each earn, I'll have enough to get the dolphin, which will complete my Crystal Sea family. I'd hold off on that dolphin, I said. How bad was Principal Love? Frankie asked. Paint the picture, Zip. It was ugly, I answered. I didn't get one word in. What I did get was 2 weeks of detention and 2 weeks of being grounded at home. With or without TV? Asked Frankie. That is without any electronic device known to mankind, I said. Frankie grabbed his heart and fell to the ground. Just the thought of it makes me stop breathing. Of course, they're going to let you out for the magic show, Ashley said. She was twirling her ponytail in her fingers, which she does when she's worried. No, I answered. I didn't have the courage to look at her. They said no exceptions. I can take his place, Robert chimed in. No, you can't, we answered together. If what was happening wasn't bad enough, suddenly a dark cloud appeared. Its name was Nick McKelty. Oh, poor thing. Did Principal Love bust you hard? The big creep said in his stupid baby voice. His teeth were looking especially snaggly. Hank got 2 weeks detention, Robert volunteered. As you've probably already noticed, Robert doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. What are you going to do about your grandpa's magic show at your dad's bowling alley, Nick said. Sounds like it's not happening. He really was enjoying this. Before I had the chance to answer, he threw his big slimy arm around me. He put his face up to mine, and there it was, the bad breath again. I didn't breathe. Hey, don't worry about it, Zipper Man, he said. I got you covered. You, I said, taking a breath and removing his arm from my shoulder. What could you do, McKelty? I'll put on a bowling show. I'll knock down more pins than... I could see him searching for something clever to say, but as usual, he came up empty. I'll knock down a whole lot of pins, he finally spit out. I just have to decide if I should use my left or my right hand. For your information, said Ashley, the bowling league doesn't want to see bowling. They know how to do that. They want to see magic. That's why they hired us. My ball handling is magic, McKelty said. He was really happy with that comeback. He reached over in one swipe with his ape-like hand and nabbed Robert's Jell-O swirl and Ashley's Nestle Crunch right off the table. Don't feel bad, he said as he walked away. There's always next year. We were silent. We didn't feel bad. We felt horrible. Hey, come on, guys, I said with fake cheerfulness. You can do the show without me. We can't build that hat without you, said Ashley. You're the one who knows how to do everything. Besides, who do you think's going to get Cheerio inside that hat? Asked Frankie. Do you think the dog is going to listen to me? Not in this century. I knew they were right. I'd ruined everything for them. I told them I was sorry, but I don't think it helped. Chapter 16. The bell rang at 3 o'clock. Everyone grabbed their backpacks and headed for the door. They were on their way to the soccer practice, or sax lessons, or other fun after-school activities, but not me. Nope. I was about to start my first day of detention. It was going to be me in a chair and Mrs. Adolf at her desk for the next fun-filled hour. I must have sighed really loudly. Do you have something to say? Miss Adolf said. I didn't say a word. I made a sound. The human body does that sometimes. Henry, Miss Adolf said, I assume you want to use this time wisely. Yes, Miss Adolf, I answered. I couldn't imagine Miss Adolf having a first name. Maybe her friends just call her Miss Adolf. I've decided to have you write your composition under my supervision, she said. Using paper and pencil, Henry. No monkey business this time. I don't know why people always think monkey business is a bad thing. I love monkeys. They always seem to have such a good time. Picking bugs off one another, eating them. I took a piece of paper out and stared at it. It was blank. So blank. Miss Adolf sat down at her desk and began to write in her brand new roll book. Neither one of us made a sound. It was so quiet that I could hear her breathing. The clock on the wall clicked and the big hand jerked forward. 1 minute down, 59 to go. Suddenly, the classroom door flew open, and a messenger from the office came in. She handed Miss Adolph a note and disappeared just as quickly. After Miss Adolph read the note, she got her purse from the bottom drawer. I have an emergency to deal with, she said. Her pet fire-breathing dragon must have gotten sick. My husband's car won't start, and I have to pick him up from work. Husband? Somebody married her? No way. Do you think he kisses her goodnight? I must have wrinkled up my face because Miss Adolph said, "What's the face for, Henry?" I was just thinking, how it would feel for, a raisin to try to lift up an elephant, I said. You would do better to keep your mind on your work, Henry, and not fill your head with silly thoughts. Miss Adolph put the roll book in the top drawer and locked it with her shiny key. She scribbled a note on a post-it and gave it to me. The office has arranged for you to spend the rest of your hour in the music room with Mr. Rock, the music teacher. He's on his way. Go there, and give him this note. Sit quietly until he arrives. The music room is in the basement, even though it's right next to the lunchroom. I don't go in there unless I have to. Being there makes me remember my second-grade chorus tryouts, which I've been trying to forget ever since that day happened. That was when Mrs. Peacock, the music teacher, told me that if I wanted to be in the chorus, I couldn't sing out loud. I was only allowed to mouth the words so I wouldn't throw everyone else off key. Mrs. Peacock left last year to have a baby, and I'd never met Mr. Rock. He was new. The first things I noticed when I went in is the music room had posters all around. Most of them were of composers, Beethoven, Mozart, and all of those old guys, but there were other posters too, cool ones. Pink Floyd, a super-sized photo of Manhattan from the air, an action shot of Michael Jordan going up in the tomahawk dunk, and, my favorite, a picture of the coolest 1959 red and white Corvette that you've ever seen. A whole bunch of instruments were spread out in the room. There were triangles and xylophones and a piano. I sat down in a chair facing a set of silver and burgundy drums. I realized that my leg was bouncing up and down about a mile a minute. It does that sometimes when I'm supposed to be sitting still. As I sat there, it hit me that I had 2 whole weeks of misery in front of me. It didn't seem fair that I was going to be punished for trying to do my best. Thoughts started coming from every corner of my brain. I wish Principal Love had let me just finish one sentence. I wish my parents had given me a chance to tell them how much I know about Niagara Falls. I wish that I was as smart as my sister. She can do anything. She just toilet trained her parakeet. My parents are always so proud of her. I picked up one of the drumsticks and tapped on a big drum. It felt good. I liked the sound. I hit it again, a little louder. Then I picked up the other stick, and I looked around to make sure I was still alone. Bam! I hit the drum, first with one stick, then the other. Bam! 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 The drums were starting to sound like I felt. Bam! I wish I didn't always forget my backpack. Bam! I wish I could do long division. Bam! I wish I didn't feel so stupid all the time. Before I knew it, I was hitting the drums so fast I could hardly see my hands. The cymbal was right in front of me. Why not? I hit it. Clash! The sound vibrated all the way around the room. I smacked it again, now back to the drums. Bam! Bam! Clash! Boom! That's for detention, I shouted. Clash! Boom! Bam! That's for always getting in trouble, my voice rang out. Bam! Bam! Bamity bam! That's 5, 1 for each paragraph I can't write. Bam! Boom! Bam! Boom! Bam! Boom! And that's for my stupid brain, I yell. From behind me I heard a man's voice say, I'll bet your brain isn't stupid. I froze. Then I slowly turned around, and the man in the doorway had a young face and a head full of curly silver hair. He was wearing a blue denim shirt and a tie with musical notes on it. Mr. Rock? I asked. That's me, he answered. Does your band have a CD out yet? I'm really sorry, I said. I know I wasn't supposed to touch these, but... they're instruments, Mr. Rock said. They're here to play. Sounds like they helped you express yourself. I had a bad day, I said. Because of your stupid brain? He asked. Yeah, how did you know? Well, because you just said it, he said with a smile. It was hard to miss. I handed Mr. Rock the note from Miss Adolph. He read it and pulled a chair and sat down backward on it. I assumed he was going to ask me why I was in detention, but he didn't. So your name's Henry Zipper, he said. My friends call me Hank. Hank, that's a good name, he said. Ever heard of Hank Aaron? April 8th, 1974, I answered. The day Hammer and Hank beat Babe Ruth's home run record. I'm a baseball fan, too, he said. I don't suppose you know what number home run Hank Aaron hit on that day. Well, 715. Do you want to know a weird Hank Aaron fact? Sure, said Mr. Rock. In 4 of his 23 seasons in baseball, Hank Aaron hit exactly 44 home runs, which was his uniform number. Pretty amazing, huh? Seems to me, said Mr. Rock, that your brain isn't so stupid. It's got plenty of good information tucked inside it. I don't have a problem remembering interesting facts, I explained. I just can't do a lot with them, like writing essays and spelling stuff. Stuff's easy for everyone else. Well, everybody learns differently, he said. Your brain is your brain. You just have to figure out the right way to feed it. I gave it a lot of Cocoa Puffs this morning, I said. Well, how about music? He laughed. Do you ever feed it music? He actually waited for an answer. No, I said. Mr. Rock rubbed his hands together as he thought about eating something delicious. Excuse me, it says. Mr. Rock rubbed his hands together as though he was about to eat something delicious. I'll make a deal with you, he said. Miss Adolph's note said you're supposed to work on your essay. We've got 45 more minutes of detention left. Let's take a few minutes and listen to some music, and it might put you in the writing mood. What do you like? Well, my essay's supposed to be about Niagara Falls. Let me see if I can find some water music, he said. What does Niagara Falls sound like? It sounded like thunder when I was there. He shuffled through his CDs and picked one out. This is the part of the Grand Canyon Suite, he said. It's called Cloudburst. He put it on and then turned it loud. It really felt as though that there was raining in the light. It was raining right there in the basement of PS 87. I'm not kidding. Papa Pete says that you never know where good luck is going to come from. In my case, it came from Big Harry's Auto and Body Shop, which took the entire week to fix Mr. Adolph's car. Miss Adolph had to leave early that day to pick up her husband, so I got to spend one whole week of detention with Mr. Rock. He taught me how to play Hey Jude on the xylophone. We looked at a magazine and pictures of our favorite cars. I picked the Ferrari F50 convertible, and he picked the 1947 Ford Woody with a surfboard on top. He put me in a total charge of trimming the dead leaves off his indoor plants. I liked that job. He worked on my essay too, and when I got stuck, which was every other second of every other minute, he had asked me questions like, how did the falls make you feel? Or what was the best part about the trip? That really helped me focus. The best part was when we listened to music. He put on a CD, and then we'd just sit back and let music fill the room. It felt so good that I couldn't believe that I was in school. And that's it for the book. Got chapters 14, 15, and 16. So we have just a little bit of the book left. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the book. Have a lovely night.